I'm going to talk about the Santa Fe school shooting that happened in Texas 2018.
Where them kicks at? Where them hands? Where them holes? Where them throws? You know what I'm saying? Cecil.
This is why I train in martial arts. May. When it happened, I was at work, and a lot of people, of course, had opinions. And basically, a lot of people are saying that it's because, these kids today, they don't know how to handle anything. They just, something happens to them, they just lose their minds. They're weak, this, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't. There are two things I don't believe anymore. I don't believe that it's ever for no reason. I just don't believe that anymore. I also refuse to believe that there are not any warning signs anymore. I think there are warning signs. I think they have their reasons. Reasons are, most likely not valid. But I still think in their minds they have a reason for what they did. And it's probably something that could have been detected if other people would pay attention. It seems like a lot of the shooters that are making the mainstream news, it's because it's people that folks just don't expect to do something like that. Because you've been socially conditioned to look in one direction for all violence, that you miss the violence that's standing right next to you.
But on April 30th, less than a month ago, he also posted this, a custom black t-shirt that says, "Born to Kill." Indications are the shooter may have been wearing this t-shirt when he went to school this morning. Another post, a black duster jacket with Nazi, communist, fascist, and religious symbols. And under the name Kamikaze, Pegorchis posted 3 rap songs on YouTube.
There's another thing that people like to blame on violence that's going on, and that's the phenomenon of fatherlessness. I am tempted to believe that to a large degree, but as someone who did grow up without their dad in the house, for reasons I won't get into right now, I can't 100% co-sign on fatherlessness because I've known people who didn't have their dads and they didn't become school shooters. I think the problem is not per se that there's not a father there. I think that we are not allowed to discipline children in a masculine way. Because see, when I was coming up, if you didn't have a daddy there, some other man could say something. Some other man could pull you aside and would pull you aside and would hem you up. And then say, "I dare you tell your mama." I said it in front of your mama. And if mama say something, they say, "Yeah, I told him, but he gonna be a man." And mama might go, but she usually went along with it 9 times out of 10. More like in my mama's case, 99 times out of 100. Now, I know a lot of that, you hear people my age and older go, "When we were kids, we could do this." Some of the reason why when we were kids, we could do this and they would do that happen is because people were living around their relatives. I think a lot of people forget about that. Yeah, you lived in a small town, but you lived around people that knew your family, that your family would trust, and they would assume that if you're disciplining their child, it's for the right reasons. I really don't think it was complete strangers. I think you, the child, just might not have known that person, but they knew. This is one thing that dawned on me at my grandmother's funeral, God rest her soul. She passed recently. I looked out, and it was like, oh my goodness, everybody pretty much that I would be around when I was coming up, she knew everybody. She knew all those people. People I didn't think she knew all of them. They all showed up at her funeral. And some of them weren't even black. I was like, she knew him too. She knew her too. She knew that couple. She knew them all. So it's like, no wonder every time I did something or didn't do something, when I got home, "I heard you was doing this. I heard you was doing that." It's like, how'd you know? What do you got? Superpowers, woman? I'm thinking, is she like Professor X or something? No, they all knew each other. So if the man was not your father, he could discipline you. People would guide me and discipline me if they weren't my father because they knew the family. That is what I think is really missing, and that's what I think is the problem.
He was very quiet. He was very sweet. He was funny. He was never mean to me. He was nice. We make jokes. We laughed about memes on the internet. And there was No red flags, no warning. The big question on everyone's mind, why? Why did he do it?
But as far as if you want to know what are some red flags, um, in the case of the Santa Fe school shooting, anybody who is wearing "Born to Kill" and is wearing like Nazi stuff, I would watch out for people who are wearing, any type of extremist paraphernalia. I'm sorry. Look at people. This is just my opinion. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I could be wrong about this. People who like blatantly dare to buck the norms and conventions. I don't mean, oh, they got purple hair. Who buck the norms of conventions in terms of behavior that is violent and that can make people feel uncomfortable. I would stop and take a look and pause and say something to that person. Okay? Even if they don't quote unquote do anything, it would still be a good idea to try to inject some reason or some sense into what they're doing if you know them. Because you never know. They could be spiraling down a dark path and you shine a little bit of light in there, and that might be enough to make them detour back towards, the realm of not wanting to shoot people in a school shooting.
20 more minutes and it would have been my class.
And we are now learning more about some of those who were killed. Shayna Fisher had just turned 16, 8 days before she was shot and killed inside of her art class. Her family believes she was one of the first victims, and her mother says just a week ago she had told the gunman or alleged gunman, that she wouldn't go out with him.
So what can the martial arts do? Martial arts training is not going to make people's lives perfect, but it can help you get some control over your emotions, a place to vent so that you don't feel like you have to go around and kill people. If you have confidence in your ability and in yourself, you will find other ways to handle your problems. Something else, doing a martial art does increase your intuition and your empathy. I'm not quite sure how. I just know that it does. And that way, when your warrior instincts are telling you that somebody else may be a problem, you as a martial artist don't go roundhouse kicking when they haven't done anything. Go talk to them, listen, be a friend, lend an ear. If there's nothing you can do, then you may have to report the person that's planning something.
My daughter was going up to my mother or telling my mom for the past 4 months and my brother that he had been making advances on her and that she finally stood up to him because her younger sister was being bullied in school, and she was showing her, look, this is what you do. You got to stand up to him and tell him that, no, it's not right. And this is the outcome. I don't know what else to say.
And finally, also, when you're in a crisis, the ability to handle the pressure of something like competition can hopefully help you to handle the pressures of a crisis, so that you can remember to breathe deep, focus, be aware of your surroundings, and get yourself and other people to safety.
I was at school in first period and the fire alarms went off and we all thought it was just a fire drill, so we evacuated outside.
She called me, she said, Mom, there's shots. I turned around and just hauled it all the way to the school. Thank God I was close. So just kept telling her to listen to her teacher, be quiet, stay down, and stay on the phone with me.
All the teachers are telling us to run, go, run. Me and my friend ran to the forest so we could get shelter. And that's when I called my mom.
They say there have been 22 school shootings as of May 2018 in the United States. There have been also a lot of other types of shootings in many areas across the United States. I'm not 100% what the problem is, besides human beings' nature to destroy each other. I don't even 100% blame gun access. But I think a good solution would be if we who are men would actually be allowed to say something to a child and it not be the end of the world, and that we can talk to the child in a way that a man would talk to a child. Not trying to say, oh no, don't say it this way. No, don't say it that way. Look! And it not be considered like you're choking the child to death. I'm going to close with this. I'm not going to say the man's name because apparently people can come back and be tried for something that happened 40 and 50 years ago. So I'm not going to say his name. But there was a teacher, and he was a male. And he didn't really threaten me. He messed with my mind. The reason why I took the SATs is because he stood up, and he's big. He's taller than me. He stood up. He said, "Oh, you think it's cool to be ignorant?" I said, "No, sir. I'll take the SATs." And a couple of days later, I thought about it. I was like, he wasn't trying. So I asked him, I said, why did you do that? He said, I had to do that because you're a boy. Right? Now, come on, admit it. You're a boy, and that's what you was. He's like, yeah, you're right. I was being stupid. He said, hey, don't be so hard on yourself. You're a man. I know I wasn't a young man. You're a young man. Sometimes it's a way that guys got to talk to each other, especially in ways you got to talk to boys. We got to be able to make the boys squad up. And then when we do, mama, don't try to bail the boy out all the time. Okay? All right. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with people that talk about the martial arts and current events. And peace.